You won't believe what happened behind the scenes of Dreamgirls back in the early 80s. Let me tell you, this story is filled with drama, surprises, and moments that will make you see Broadway legends Sheryl Lee Ralph and Loretta Devine in a whole new light. It all started when these two women were both part of one of the most iconic Broadway musicals ever, Dreamgirls. But here's the shocking part. You might think it was all about rehearsals, singing, and choreography, right? Well, it wasn't. It was the drama offstage that made the real headlines. Sheryl Lee Ralph and Loretta Devine were cast as the best friends in the musical, playing Dina Jones and Laurel Robinson, the backup singers to Jennifer Holliday's famous role of Effie White. They spent years together, day after day, performing on stage, living through the highs and lows of Broadway life. They even became roommates during the production. Now, you might think that being roommates with your co-star on Broadway would make things smooth and easy, but for Sheryl and Loretta, it led to some serious tension. Their first big argument happened during one of their performances. You see, on stage, the set was filled with large, heavy pieces of scenery, and they were constantly moving around, sometimes at lightning speed. But one night, during one particular performance, Loretta was getting hit in the head by a flat. Those big wooden pieces used to create the stage environment. She was not happy about it, to say the least. She thought Sheryl was the one responsible for not moving fast enough. Loretta even joked, saying, "I thought she was trying to kill me." But here's where it gets interesting. When she found out the truth, it was something she never expected. It wasn't Sheryl at all. The real culprit was Zane, the stagehand. He had fallen asleep, and instead of properly handling the flats, he let them fall wherever they pleased. Can you imagine? All that drama. And it was all because of an exhausted stagehand. Loretta was furious, but once she found out the truth, the fight quickly turned into a funny memory they'd laugh about later. But just when you think their friendship couldn't get any more complicated, there was the second big fight. This one wasn't about flats falling on heads. It was about something a little more colorful. Sheryl had gone through a lot during the production, and she was feeling left out and ignored. So when the production decided to send some of the newer cast members to Los Angeles for a promotional trip, they did not take Sheryl and Loretta along. To make matters worse, they sent back photos of their new cast members in beautiful, upgraded dressing rooms, while Sheryl and Loretta were left with what felt like nothing. And what makes this story even more wild? They had given the new cast members a pink dressing room. Not just any pink, mind you. This was Pepto-Bismol pink, and Sheryl was not having it. She wasn't about to let this disrespect slide. So what did she do? She decided to upgrade her space in a way only Sheryl Lee Ralph could. It's not just that she painted her room pink, it's what she did after that left Loretta in disbelief. This time, it wasn't about a flat or a bad stagehand. It was about the way Sheryl fought back against the situation, showing her strength and determination to make things right, even if it meant going against the grain. Sheryl's frustration didn't end with the pink room. It spilled over into a much deeper personal fight that tested the friendship of these two talented women. Their bond was strained, but it was clear that both of them were determined to get their voices heard in their own unique ways. And this is where things start to get really interesting. Sheryl wasn't going to take the disrespect quietly, and it was her creative response to the promotional material that left Loretta speechless. But before I tell you what happened next, let me just say that this story is far from over. There's a twist, a mystery that no one saw coming, and a show of strength that would cement Sheryl and Loretta's friendship forever. Stick with me as we dive deeper into what made these two women so powerful, and how their rivalry turned into something unforgettable. All right, so let's pick up right where we left off. And trust me, this is where things start getting truly wild. After the whole pink dressing room drama, Sheryl and Loretta were both feeling the weight of being overshadowed by the new cast members. But here's where it gets even crazier. What happened next was something straight out of a movie. You remember that picture I mentioned? The one with the new cast members in skimpy outfits posed for a promotional poster? Well, Sheryl Lee Ralph wasn't going to let that poster hang up on the door outside her dressing room, disrespecting her and her friend. She wasn't going to stand by and let the producers push her to the side. So, one day, while Loretta was off doing something else, Sheryl decided to take matters into her own hands, and that's when the true magic happened. Sheryl, being the fierce and determined woman she was, couldn't stand the idea of that poster staying there. So she did something no one expected. You're probably wondering what she did, right? Well, it wasn't a typical tantrum. She didn't storm into the office and demand the poster be taken down. No, Cheryl's approach was far more creative and way more dramatic. She took the poster and it vanished. Nobody knew where it went. It wasn't like anyone came to take it down. No one could even find it. It was like it had disappeared into thin air. Loretta, when she found out, was absolutely baffled. She asked Sheryl what happened to the poster, and Sheryl, with a grin on her face, looked at her and said, "Do you want to know where it went?" Then Sheryl did something that left Loretta and everyone else speechless. She walked over to the door, moved a brick from in front of it, and there it was. The poster, carefully hidden under a brick, rolling away like it was a secret in a mystery novel. It was like something straight out of the Bible, where stones were rolled away to reveal the truth. And that was the moment Loretta knew just how resourceful, clever, and powerful Sheryl was. She had taken the poster down without anyone noticing, outsmarting the system with a little bit of creativity. Loretta couldn't help but be amazed at the lengths Sheryl went to in order to protect their dignity. Sheryl wasn't just strong back then, she was a force of nature, and this act of defiance made Loretta realize how lucky she was to have such a friend by her side. But here's the kicker. This wasn't just about a poster or a dressing room. It was a symbol of something much bigger. It was about standing up for yourself when no one else would. It was about defying expectations, about showing that no matter how hard life gets, you can always find a way to fight back. Cheryl's act of rebellion wasn't just a funny memory for Loretta. It was a reminder of the power that comes with believing in yourself, even when the world seems to be pushing you down. As the two of them continued to work together on Dreamgirls, this moment would stay with them, not just as a funny story, but as a testament to their friendship. They both knew that no matter how tough the road got, they could count on each other to fight for what they deserved. And believe me, their story doesn't stop there. This is where things really take a turn. Just when you think you know how this story will go, there's another twist, something that would change everything for Sheryl, Loretta, and their entire careers. Now let's get to the part that really changes everything for both Sheryl and Loretta. The Dreamgirls production wasn't just a show, it was a turning point for everyone involved. But what happened next? Well, it's the part of the story where dreams, struggles, and destiny all collide in a way that no one could have predicted. After all the backstage drama, after the fights and the creative acts of rebellion, Sheryl and Loretta were still pushing forward, doing their best to shine in their roles. But while Dreamgirls was a massive success, there were times when Sheryl couldn't help but feel like she was being overlooked. As a Black woman in an industry that was slow to recognize her talent, Sheryl faced challenges that went beyond the stage. She felt like she was constantly told to wait her turn. She was always told that the bigger stars were the ones who should be in the spotlight. But Sheryl wasn't about to sit back and wait. She wasn't that kind of woman. When the production wrapped up and Cheryl's time on Broadway began to wind down, something in her shifted. She knew that her journey wasn't over, not by a long shot. It was clear that Dreamgirls had put her name in front of the world. But Sheryl still had to fight for her place in the future, and she wasn't alone. Loretta, too, was going through her own struggles, but the two of them stuck together, supporting one another through every challenge that came their way. And here's where the story takes another unexpected turn. The moment that would change Cheryl's career forever came when she took a huge leap. You might be thinking this was the moment she finally got the recognition she deserved. But not exactly. This was a moment that took years of hard work, heartbreak, and countless obstacles to reach. Sheryl was nominated for a Tony Award for her role in Dreamgirls, a nomination that would change the way people saw her. She didn't win, but something more important happened. The nomination itself was a statement. It was proof that Sheryl had arrived, that her voice, her talent, and her perseverance couldn't be ignored any longer. Now, don't get it twisted. This moment wasn't just about a trophy. No, it was about breaking down doors, about showing every young girl watching that, yes, you can do it too. Sheryl took that nomination as her victory. It wasn't about the award, it was about proving that she was a force to be reckoned with, and she wasn't going anywhere. But let's be honest here. What makes this story so special isn't just Cheryl's journey or Loretta's support, it's the way their friendship was the foundation for everything that came after. Both of them knew that when the world tried to shut them down, they had each other's backs. Their bond was built on understanding and resilience. And as they moved from Broadway to Hollywood, their friendship only grew stronger. This is where it gets even more powerful. Cheryl's career didn't stop at the Tony nomination or Broadway. It expanded into television and film. with roles that showed the world just how much more she had to offer. And guess what? Sheryl's breakthrough wasn't just a personal triumph. It became a victory for every Black woman who had ever been told she wasn't good enough. Her success opened doors for others, showing that with enough grit, anyone can rise above. And then came Abbott Elementary. You might know Sheryl from her amazing role in the hit TV show, but what you might not know is that Abbott Elementary wasn't just another acting gig for Sheryl. It was her full circle moment. After everything she went through on Broadway, after all those years of fighting to be seen, here she was, in a role that celebrated the very thing she had fought for: representation. Sheryl finally got the chance to play a character who wasn't just the background player, but a woman who was smart, strong, and respected. A woman who could teach, inspire, and lead. But here's the crazy part. This wasn't just a role to Sheryl, it was a mission. Sheryl didn't just want to entertain, she wanted to show young people that their dreams mattered, that their voices had power. In her acceptance speech for the Hollywood Walk of Fame, she said something that summed up everything she had worked for. "This honor represents every artist who has ever felt unseen. I want generations to see what's possible, that their dreams are valid, their voice is powerful, and their potential is limitless." What makes this story different? It's not just about the fame, the awards, or the accolades. It's about the journey of a woman who fought through the noise and proved that no matter what, you can overcome anything. Sheryl Lee Ralph's story isn't just inspiring, it's a legacy of strength and courage that will live on for generations. But we're not done yet. You see, while Sheryl was out there claiming her place in the spotlight, Loretta was doing the same. The friendship that began all those years ago on Broadway continued to flourish, and as they both continued to rise, the story of their bond remained just as powerful as ever. And remember, there's always one last twist in every story. What happens next is something that will leave you speechless. Now, as we reach the final chapter of this incredible story, it's time to bring everything full circle. What happens next isn't just the ending of Sheryl and Loretta's journey, it's the beginning of something that will inspire generations to come. And believe me, you won't see this coming. After all the struggles, the fights, the battles with the system, and the heartache, Sheryl Lee Ralph and Loretta Devine both stood strong, side by side. Their friendship, tested through the years, became more than just a shared experience in Dreamgirls. It became the foundation that supported each of them as they built careers that would change Hollywood forever. And it wasn't just about acting. It was about fighting for respect, for the recognition they deserved, and for the right to be seen as the powerful women they truly were. Sheryl's Hollywood Walk of Fame ceremony in 2022 wasn't just a personal achievement. It was a victory for everyone who had ever been told they were too much or not enough. As she stood there, receiving her star, she wasn't just accepting an award, she was honoring every woman who had come before her, every person who had paved the way. And what she said in her speech was nothing short of a revelation. "I walk this path with purpose because I know young people are watching. Representation matters. And when I step on the set of Abbott Elementary every day, I bring the same joy, enthusiasm, and hope that I had when I was 24 years old in Dreamgirls." Sheryl's words weren't just about herself. They were about everyone who had ever struggled to be seen. And what made that moment even more powerful was the fact that Loretta was there, watching her friend, her partner in this long journey, receive the recognition she so deserved. Loretta was there to celebrate, but also to reflect on their shared history, the struggles they had faced together, the arguments they had survived, and the bond that had held them together through it all. But here's the part that's truly unexpected. Even with all the success and all the love they received from fans and fellow actors, Sheryl never forgot where she came from. She never forgot those days on Broadway, the tough times when they were struggling to make a name for themselves, the backstage drama that nearly tore them apart. Sheryl's message was clear. No matter how far she had come, she would always be the same woman who fought for what was right, the same woman who stood up for her friend, for herself, and for every young person who needed someone to look up to. And just when you think their story has come to a close, there's one more twist. Because, in a way, their journey isn't over yet. Sheryl and Loretta's careers may have reached new heights, but their impact continues to grow, inspiring more people every day. They showed the world that even in the most challenging of circumstances, friendship, strength, and resilience can make you unstoppable. The craziest part? Their journey isn't just about Broadway or Hollywood. It's about the powerful message they send to anyone who has ever felt unheard, unseen, or underestimated. It's a message of hope that dreams really do come true if you don't give up, if you keep fighting for your place, and if you surround yourself with people who truly have your back. Sheryl and Loretta's story is a testament to the fact that no matter where you start, no matter how hard the road gets, you can overcome it. They fought for their dreams, and in doing so, they showed us all how to fight for ours. Their friendship, their success, and their legacy, that's something that will continue to inspire generations to come, just as their story has inspired us today. And remember, it wasn't just about Dreamgirls or Broadway. It was about the heart, the strength, and the passion that Sheryl and Loretta poured into everything they did. Their lives are a living example of how dreams are valid, how voices are powerful, and how nothing is impossible when you've got the courage to stand up and fight. The end of this story isn't the end at all. It's just the beginning of a new chapter, and trust me, this is a story we'll keep telling for years to come.